Take it to Ottawa now. Conservative Leader Erin O'Toole is speaking.
When the COVID-19 pandemic first upended our lives, millions of children are once again doing school from home. Parents, small business owners, and everyday Canadians are once again being asked to put their lives on hold, to sacrifice their personal liberties, and to deal with more anxiety and uncertainty that is already causing a tremendous strain on the mental health of Canadians and our wellness as a society. Depuis quelques jours, les provinces et les territoires ont pris des mesures importantes pour prévenir la propagation du variant Omicron.
Prevent the spread of the Omicron variant.
Ces mesures visent à protéger notre
The aim of
système
these
de santé
measures is
et
to
les Canadiens.
prevent overwhelming our healthcare system.
Had little choice but to take these steps because the federal government has not delivered on key tools to help Canadians manage the risks of a pandemic in a population that is now largely fully vaccinated. In fact, the action and inaction by the Trudeau government is normalizing lockdowns and restrictions as the primary tool to fight the latest COVID-19 variant. It didn't have to be this way. Back at the start of the pandemic, the Prime Minister promised to deliver the tools that he said would reduce spread and keep our society and economy open. From his doorstep in the spring of 2020, Justin Trudeau promised Canadians that he would deliver on domestic supplies of PPE because we could not rely on other countries. We needed made-in-Canada supplies of personal protective equipment to keep healthcare and essential workers safe. So why, 2 years later, do we have PPE shortages in schools and insufficient N95 mask supplies 2 years later? Why does the Canadian Association of PPE Manufacturers tell us that the Trudeau government is back to buying most of their supplies from China? Have we not learned anything? From his doorstep, in the early days of the pandemic, the Prime Minister said he had spoken to the provinces and that he would take federal leadership to deliver on the two most important tools we needed to fight COVID and keep life as normal as possible: tests and contact tracing. That was 2 years ago. So why were schools in British Columbia short 11 million rapid tests to start classes after Christmas? Pourquoi c'était impossible pour les Canadiens d'avoir des
Why
tests
was it
dépistage
impossible
rapides
for Canadians to get rapid tests quickly so that they could keep their holiday plans?
Pourquoi posséder un test de dépistage rapide était pratiquement une mission impossible?
Why was it mission
en
impossible
décembre
to
dernier?
get a rapid test
La
this past
réponse
December?
est simple. Le
The
gouvernement
answer
Trudeau
is
a fait
simple.
preuve d'un manque de leadership.
The Trudeau
Être
government
Premier ministre
lacked leadership.
signifie tenir ses promesses faites
It failed
aux
to keep
Canadiens.
its promises to
Being
Canadians.
Prime Minister is not just about giving pep talks to the nations, as one person described yesterday's press conference. Being Prime Minister is about making sure the country is prepared for future waves of the pandemic, to lead a full court press of the federal government to give provinces, communities, and Canadians the PPE, the rapid test, the surge healthcare capacity, all of the tools we need to be safe and to maintain our quality of life as much as possible. Justin Trudeau promised these tools in 2020, and we are paying the price in 2022 for his failure to deliver. As I said a few months ago, the Prime Minister is always strong in ambition and always falls short on achievement. And that is why I'm incredibly frustrated to start off this year. Les Canadiens et les Québécois ont déjà fait leur part. Des millions de personnes se sont fait vacciner. Nous sommes l'un des pays les plus vaccinés au monde. Les vaccins sont l'outil le plus important contre la COVID-19. Si le Canada avait tous les outils promis depuis la première vague, la gestion de la pandémie aura été plus facile aujourd'hui. My wife Rebecca and I got our boosters this week, and I encourage all Canadians to get vaccinated. If you have questions, ask your doctor. Talk to someone. The vaccines are safe and incredibly effective at minimizing the severity of COVID, including the Omicron variant. As 2022 starts, Canada desperately needs federal leadership to get our lives back. We need to ensure that all of the provinces, all communities, all schools, all workplaces have the tools they need to help manage COVID, to ensure we can return to normal as quickly as possible and keep things there. Widespread lockdowns and restrictions of liberty were a necessary band-aid to protect us before we had the critical tools to fight COVID-19 safely and effectively. We have those tools now in terms of the vaccines, but we are still lagging terribly on other tools like testing and domestic supply of PPE. Therefore, the Conservative opposition will be convening an emergency meeting of the Health Committee to examine critical gaps in our country's ability to effectively manage COVID-19 variants, despite the high vaccination rates we now have as a country. I'm joined today by my special COVID-19 advisor, Dr. Stephen Ellis, who was part of the frontline healthcare efforts fighting COVID-19 in Nova Scotia before his election last fall. Dr. Ellis and MP Luc Berthold have been working closely with our former Shadow Minister of Health, Michelle Rempel-Garner, to examine the critical gaps that continue to exist in the delivery of tools to fight COVID-19 long promised by Justin Trudeau and his government. We will also be forcing the government to act to prevent the looming trucking shortage that Canada is facing and that will lead to even higher prices for fuel, for food, and everyday essentials that Canadians are struggling to pay at the present moment because of the inflation crisis. Our Shadow Minister for Transport, Melissa Lantsman, has already been in contact with the Minister to push for a solution to avoid more skyrocketing prices stemming from shortages. D'autres pays, comme les États-Unis,
Other countries such as the United States are offering accommodations that are reasonable to unvaccinated truckers. This helps to eliminate the risk associated with this essential service. If we do not act now, we will be short of thousands of transporters in Canada.
Hours after launching a vaccine mandate with no previous legal or policy guidance from the Federal Civil Service. It was done to divide people, and it is likely added to vaccine hesitancy rather than lower it. I said at the time that reasonable accommodations could and should be found for a small number of Canadians who may not be vaccinated. Trucking is just one example where this can be done safely and in line with the legal precedent that is now clearly being established across this country. A leader does not divide and conquer, but finds ways to bring people together and achieve great things. As we start 2022, the Conservative opposition will be relentlessly focused on holding this government to account, to push for the tools needed to manage COVID-19, to fight inflation, to fight to make life more affordable for Canadian families and for seniors, and to try and unite this great country. Canada's Conservatives will be the voice for the voiceless, and we will try and ensure that Canada leads once again. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.